delighted to be joined online by Brent Spiner to talk about the next of our features in cult classic TV series. And this week we're featuring on Star Trek, The Next Generation. We're delighted to be joined by the one and only, the legend of sci-fi himself, Brent Spiner, who played the iconic role of Data. And I suppose, Brent, when you get to speak to people all over the world, not only in America, but Ireland, UK, China, Russia, and all these countries about the impact that Star Trek has had on its generations from the 90s, the early 90s, even till its present day. It really redefined a generation and earned its title a cult classic TV series.
So I couldn't really say why it's done that. I mean, I suppose I could take a guess and say that, the traditional line on this is that it gives a positive view of the future, but I'm not sure that's exactly what it is. I think maybe it's inclusiveness that appeals to people.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brent, as well, in relation to Star Trek, when you started off filming the TV series back in the 90s, did you have a sense that this was something that was going to transform different generations and reach out to sci-fi fans and become the smash hit that we know it is today?
That is exactly what was going to happen. How could I possibly know that, James? No, not at all. I thought I was going to be able to pay off some bills, and it would be a nice job to do for a little while, and on to the next one. I had no idea.
And Brent, in relation to how did the opportunity come about for you to get cast in Star Trek?
I've been an actor for a long time, and I was an actor for many years before I did Star Trek, and so I had an agent, as most fortunate actors do, and my agent got me an appointment for an audition, and that was one of the many auditions I had that year. And luckily, the casting agent, Julie Lowry, a wonderful casting agent, the casting director, thought that I should be seen for that role, and so I was, and that's how it came about.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brent, the relationships you've built up through the years from Star Trek in relation to working with the legendary Patrick Stewart and Jonathan Frakes and Michael Dorn and LeVar Burton, have those friendships stayed strong throughout the years and as the decades have gone by, and do you still consider them very close friends?
No, we don't speak to each other anymore.
And Brent, in relation...
I'm completely kidding. I'm kidding you. Yes, of course, we're very good friends. We're all very close still. As a matter of fact, I'm going to see Patrick tomorrow. The legendary Patrick.
The legendary Patrick Stewart. And when you look at sci-fi series today, Brent, and when you compare to what he did in Star Trek back in the early 1990s, do you look and say that maybe it was a show that defined a generation and maybe it set standards for series to come in relation to explore, as I said, explore new boundaries for what could be done in relation to sci-fi series?
No, I honestly, I never do that, James. I first of all, I'm not a big sci-fi fan.
Okay.
I don't watch much sci-fi, so I don't know what's on now, particularly. But to be honest, I never watched our show much either. Watched the first few episodes, and then I felt like I'd spent enough time doing that, and it was time to watch something else. So I'm not and again, I'm not just a philosopher. I don't think of those things.
And Brent, when we talk about your own character, Data, when you saw the script initially and you saw, what sort of ideas had you in mind for your own character, Data, that you wanted to bring to screen, and how would you sort of see Data if you had to describe him yourself?
Well, what I wanted to do was to eliminate the author's work. That's what an actor's job is. The role was already written. It was just up to me to try to illuminate it as best I could and make it believable. And that's what I tried to do for years.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brent, in relation to you, as you said, you had a very successful career and you've gone on to feature in many movies and series, from independent Independence Day to Brentwood's Midnight Man and The Aviator. And what sort of roles do you aspire in relation to as an actor? Do you like comedy roles? Do you like action series roles? Or what genre sort of excites you the most?
Well, I always thought I was going to be doing comedy most of all. It's the love of my life. But in fact, as an actor, and I think you'd find this with almost any actor, you want as much variety as you could possibly get. That's what makes it fun. The spice of life,
Yeah, and I suppose, Brent, working with, we know many of the iconic cast that were in Star Trek Generation, but working with sort of characters that we know well here in Ireland, the likes of Colm Meaney, and how would you describe working beside Colm? He was a real sort of a talented actor who really honed his craft.
Yes, well, Colm is a great actor, and we were all aware of that from the very beginning. He has a way of being completely genuine in his roles and completely honest. That's the goal of every actor, and he accomplishes it every time out.
Yeah. And Brent, in relation to, as you mentioned, your own role in Star Trek and travelling the world, and people synonymously link you to data, do you sort of feel sometimes that it's an honour, but sometimes that you would like to be in relation to the actor? Every actor loves his next project and he loves his next character, and sometimes you feel a great admiration when the people applaud you for your role as Data, but sometimes you feel like you would like to be recognised for other projects and movies just on an equal basis, or is something that Star Trek holds deep to your chest in relation to treasured memories?
It's not up to me how people perceive me. That's up to them. And I just wanted to be recognized for anything. I'm happy about that. When I started my career as an actor, I thought if I could just have a little success, I'd be absolutely happy. And I've had a decent amount. And whichever characters or roles people like to associate me with, that's their choice, and that's fine with me.
And Brent Spiner, have you ever been to Ireland yourself?
Yes, I have. I have been to Ireland. In fact, I was in Dublin last year at a sci-fi convention.
Brent, when you talk about maybe TV series from the 80s, like the Dukes of Hazzard, Starsky of Hutch, A-Team, Magnum P.I., Cheers, they have a sort of resonance that they sort of live on forever, and they live on in the memories. And even new TV viewers of the new generations that are born in the early 2000s, they can turn them on if they've never seen it before, and they can sort of resonate to it and draw in again a sort of new audience. And Star Trek has that ability that it can sort of live on even in future sort of generations, and that must be something that you're mighty proud of, to see a whole new generations growing up following Star Trek and following Data and living his experiences again.
Yeah, it is rewarding. Star Trek is, I think, the great American epic, actually, and it goes on and on and on. It's been on in one form or another for over 50 years, and I think anything that is half a century old, at least, a little over half a century, it's got to be worth something, and there's got to be a reason it's lasted that long, and it's delightful to know that new generations are coming along all the time and appreciating it, and that they continue to make it, and that we see this enormous tapestry that just keeps going on and on and on.
Yeah, and I suppose, Brent, this is probably one of the tougher questions I'll ask you in this interview, but I ask it in relation to most TV series. If you were to put the character Data in a dictionary and you left two blank sentences underneath it, and someone asked you, Brent Spiner, in relation to Data, the role you played in Star Trek, how would you like that role to be remembered? What would you like those two sentences to read?
I would like the first sentence to say a character played by Brent Spiner who was an android
Brent, in relation to future projects and future TV series and films in the works, have you anything coming up in late 2019 or 2020 that we're going to see in our TV screens or in our movie cinemas here in Ireland?
Sure. Well, I'm making some appearances on the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Picard.
Okay.
Once again, the legendary Patrick Stewart, and I'm also doing a series. It's a second version of Penny Dreadful, which incidentally was shot in Dublin, I believe, the original series.
Okay.
This is a follow-up. It's called Penny Dreadful, City of Angels, and that'll be on Showtime in 2020.
Okay, on that note, Brent Spiner, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you on the airways this evening as we look back on the cult classic TV series Star Trek Next Generation. An honour to speak to you, Brent, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavours, and we thank you for taking your time there this evening to take our call to talk about your role in Star Trek Next Generation as the legendary Data. Thank you, Brent.
No, it's a pleasure, James. Thank you so much.
Thank you.